What up, guys? Dr. Dan here. Thanks for tuning in. I do apologize for the backlighting. I know that can sort of get a glare when I do these live casts. I do apologize. Just looking a little discombobulated here. Let me switch this up. Got a little hat going today because it's boss's day. So we had a little bit of a celebration here in the office. The crew hit me off with some snacks. It was real great. I'll get back to that a little bit later on, guys. Oops, sorry about that. Boom. Don't want to mess up my style. Great. Well, guys, for now, really what I wanted to go ahead and jump into was developing wellness momentum. Okay. Just really getting the ball going, just broadly in terms of our wellness, getting things moving in the correct direction where we feel like the time that we're spending in our lives is being spent purposefully towards the intentions that we really have in mind, rather than just spending time, and even worse, having the time spent not feeling happy, not feeling like we're well enough to fulfill our purpose, either well enough in our minds or well enough in our bodies, and oftentimes both. Right? Because not only are those two entities, and I don't even want to consider them two entities, but we will for the sake of discussion. I don't want to go off the deep end. These things are your mind and your body. They're intertwined and interdependent. Okay. They're part and parcel of the same thing. We do treat them separately, but they're actually part and parcel of the same thing, as our mind comes to form decisive behavioral actions that are done by the body. Okay. And also in turn, how the body is running and its internal state is also consciously sensed by the mind, also subconsciously. There's a whole series of receptors, that monitor our oxygenation status, our heart rate, our breathing rate, other indices of vital signs, our pH. These things are monitored in our brains, also subconsciously. But the physiologic reactions to these subconscious signals, these physiologic reactions to them, if they are perturbed out of balance, those are detected consciously. And those are either going to make us feel good, bad, or indifferent. Okay. So getting back to the topic at hand regarding developing wellness with regards to feeling like we're inspired enough and well enough to carry on all of the tasks of our day without feeling overwhelmed, and also without that FOMO, that fear of missing out, okay, which I know is a real thing, and patients do speak on it. And that fear of missing out does cause anxiety. That reason why it causes anxiety is because our lifespans are limited. We die. We do not live forever. In medicine, we are all too frequently reminded of that. So people's anxieties about how they spend their time and their end drawing ever so near, that creeps into people's minds, especially when there's a series of unfortunate events, be it things that have to do with our emotional well-being, or a series of unfortunate events, mental well-being, or unfortunate events having to do with our physical self, the body running down, arthritis, disease, chronic pain, that sort of thing. Okay. Systemic things. So really what I wanted to get into today is how do we get back on track, especially when we feel like we've lost momentum, vis-a-vis how do we use cannabis as a catalyst to get us moved forward. Okay, I think that's a pertinent talk here, being as how this is the Ozark MMJ Cards medical marijuana channel. I wanted to really lean into it because a lot of my patients, just what I've gotten from patient testimony, they've been able to improve on a lot of different facets of their life in terms of both their mental health and getting that in order, often primarily, often first, and then getting their physical health also back on track and not having to resort to um, crazy means in order to do so. Okay, in other words, non-physiologic means to get them to those ends. More specifically, I'd like to lean into that along coincident with this patient improvement. Oftentimes, they've been, since starting a cannabis regimen, oftentimes these patients will come up on taking less medications and reducing their total pill count, which is always a huge advantage. You know, we in modern medicine, we rely on chemical pharmacopoeia to bail us out of a sticky situation if relying on the body's normal restorative tendency falls short. Okay, when the body can't restore itself, then naturally we're going to lean on artificial chemistry. Sounds paradoxical, right? Naturally we lean on artifice. Well, that's where we've landed on in modern medicine, because we've sometimes we run up where we can't rely on the patient's nature anymore. Okay, so we nurture them with artifice. We'd like to go in another direction, though. At least I would. If we're looking to preserve a human for as long as we can, the most instructive thing is to rely on the human's nature, rely on their own restorative physiology, and supplement it in a way that the body recognizes as natural and native to its own chemistry. Water break. One moment, folks. Yummy. Which is where we land on cannabis, folks, right? Good old Mary Jane. Here's how it works, okay? Sometimes we hit a rut where everything sort of seems to be down. And I'm not saying that everyone hits this rut the same way. It can hit people different ways, but we can sort of come to a phase where the work-life balance is not balanced and somehow our sleep cycle is off. When our sleep cycle is off, we tend to make different poor dietary choices. Okay, and when we make poor dietary choices, it doesn't leave us with good building blocks for energy to go perform good active work like exercise, nor does it enable us with the good building blocks for calm, steady, deep flow state type thinking, okay, where we're doing purposeful work. So all of these things can steamroll. And when we have that conscious, keyword here, conscious idea that we're not fulfilling our potential and we're not following that natural, innate ball plan that we're endowed with, because we're endowed with it, it's innate, okay, the correct behaviors. Sometimes we get distracted by our modern days and the buried memories of the correct behaviors to perform become clouded by the tedium of our day. Okay, this is where cannabis comes into play. All right, so in order to develop good strong momentum moving forward, paradoxically what we have to do is slow things down. Here's the intersection of the mind and body again. All right. Once we can slow down the superfluous thoughts, right, that cloud our day, that fill us up, all of these vocational work related things to get money and buy a house, and not to say that a house isn't necessary, but we fill our day with getting monetary gain and praise and all of these things that don't actually have a proportional benefit on our actual total wellness, our happiness and physical and emotional and psychological wellness. Okay. So, what cannabis does is these thoughts that consume us and come to define how we direct our energy, these thoughts are moved to the periphery. Okay. So, what they do is these thoughts, we can call it white noise. Once it moves to the side and falls to the wayside, it really clears up a channel. Okay, it opens that gate a little bit from our conscious to our buried core subconscious, and allows a lot of these thoughts that we've tamped down and put pressure on and buried. It allows a lot of these wonderful blossoming of intuitive thoughts. It allows these things to outpour. Okay. And this is just knowledge that we've known before, recognized before, but been distracted by other things. So these things disappear from our working knowledge. Okay. Because they're not patterned centrally, because we haven't rehabituated ourselves to it, and we haven't formed a habit energy where we're devoting actual energy towards these practices. And that's why I mentioned cannabis slowing things down, so that the pace of these thoughts that we don't actually hold in high value, the pace of these thoughts coming into our actual conscience, is slowed down. And once that quiets down, our thoughts become calmer, our breathing can become calmer, and we're able to open more lucid channels of thought, where we're able to ponder on things that we actually find valuable, but are kept sort of in Pandora's box, this treasure trove of great ideas. This thing is often kept under wraps because we're distracted by other things, and we don't know how to really stop the distraction. It's very difficult in the modern day when we're being pulled in so many directions, and it becomes difficult to really delineate which one of these priorities should get our prize time, this limited, fleeting prize time, because that's what comes to bug us. I spent my whole day and I wasted time, right? We get anxious about it and we ruminate about it and we can't go to sleep. And then we think about what we have to do the next day until we can finish all this stuff that we don't care about, so we can finally get some time to do the stuff that we do like. And we're like, what is it that we like? What are we doing? So the rat race, essentially. So, folks, being able to start with our heads and start with stillness and get it to a place where we're doing more purposeful thinking, right? And letting the thoughts happen rather than trying to force things that are unnatural. We're able to land on these thoughts that seem to recur and happen over and over and over again. And as these natural thoughts occur, we start to build an inner momentum that these things are giving us a message for a reason. And as these thoughts happen again and again, the plan for how to make these thoughts part of an actual performed behavior, those steps start to reveal themselves organically without us trying to formulate a plan for how to do it. Say, like, if someone hadn't been going to the gym or exercising for a while, once they stop to think about it for a while, if they use some good, properly microdosed cannabis, hopefully along with some CBD, hopefully full spectrum, something rich in terpenes, they might have a good rumination, a series of ruminations, even before they get up to go do something active. They can visualize themselves performing these movements, whatever it is it might be. Could be a brisk walk, could be playing golf, could be going to the gym. Doesn't matter, as long as it's active and gets the heart rate up. But my really thing that I'm driving towards is that once someone really just allows themselves and invites themselves to open up that space and really, really let it come into full fruition, as opposed to, you might dose your cannabis and just stay on the move just to calm yourself down as you keep inducing more stress, and you'll find that you'll just keep running in a circle. Okay, if you try and do that. Okay, I don't think that's how it's best utilized. Okay, now that's just my medical opinion, but right, it is what it is. So I did just want to shed some light on that and just sort of water that idea for you folks, that developing momentum is best, really with regards to our habits. Okay. The things that we practice, these things could be trying out a new instrument. It could be devoting time to some sort of piece of art or writing or learning a program on the computer or some sort of thing that you wanted to devote your energy to, and you feel like somehow the synchrony of your life won't permit you to do that. Okay. And somehow it's causing a block in the whole structure where you feel like somehow it's just it's making everything off kilter, and it drives you to where you don't have as much optimism and hope. And once people start along that line, that can become a vicious cycle. So I think a thing like cannabis is a real easy win. I very much endorse going through the low resistance route towards corrective action. And I think that having someone sit is an easily followed thing. It might be more difficult in practice, but the concept is simple enough. Having them sit, enjoy some marijuana. Yeah, that's great. That's awesome. You know, and that way you can think about yourself. It's the most exciting thing to learn about yourself. And people are always floored by what can come up organically when they just allow themselves that real quality space time to go through the check down, the decision making process of what it is that really, really makes them tick and forms their core habit energy that they want to become defined with for themselves. Okay, not for something else or someone else or some other form of praise or secondary external gain. Okay, so I just wanted to lend some credence to that for folks who are looking to just get back into their own personal rhythm of the things that they want, that they have envisioned in their minds for themselves. Okay, these habits that we can direct our energies towards. In order to get the ball started for that, the first thing you have to do is just make a decision. Okay, and the only way you're going to get to that point is if you invite yourself and allow yourself to just think about what it is that you want. Okay, it's yours, it's your life. It's always the person's life to decide their own destiny. And a lot of times we don't think about it, and we think that some external message or force is going to dictate to us what defines our destiny. And that's what gives us a lot of anxiety. We think it can just be decided for us and we won't have to put any thought into it. And really, the thought is a passive process anyway. So I think if people would just get a little cannabis and give themselves the opportunity through a series of repetitive sessions, I think people can come to a more colorful angle of thought, and just a broader array, a better perspective on themselves once they give themselves the opportunity and open that gateway to their hidden subconscious, that hidden treasure of ideas that lies inside of us. Okay, so that's a real good way to get momentum, folks. Sit before you move. Right, once you think about things enough, the plan, mapping out the plan for how to do things, is really just the next three steps. You don't need to know all of the steps. Getting to those next couple of steps, and really just the next step, that gives people a lot of hope and a lot of confidence and optimism. And that's really what this is about. In order for people to feel well, they just want to feel that they have the hope that they can have a say in determining their own destiny. Right? It's a beautiful thing. Roll one up to that, folks. That's all I'm trying to say. All right, cool. Hey, YouTube family, social media, thanks for tuning in. Dr. Dan here again. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Feel free to share my videos that I make. I apologize for the poor lighting and the silly hat, my silly face. What can I say? Cool. So, Boss's Day today. I didn't even know there was such a thing. Gosh, I would have tried to become a boss long ago. Look at this. My employees are so great. God, I love them. I lucked out, folks. Look at this. So I got a Bombay cutting board. Oh, sorry about that feedback, folks. Dr. Teal's. This is relax and relief bath stuff. Love to take me a little relaxing bath, man. I'm a little old princess. There it is. Love this stuff. A little bubble bath, some eucalyptus and spearmint. Be smelling like gum. Feedback again. Lovely card. Heartwarming. I won't read it. Folks, I know it might be diabetes inducing, but there's Snickers in there. I'll probably skip the Three Musketeers and maybe give those to patients. Hope my kids don't get into these Milky Way. Twix I'll probably keep for myself. But yeah, thank you, folks. I was really, really appreciative. Oh, wait, there's more. I know it seems like I'm showing off because I am. To be very honest with you, folks, I'm really more grateful for the employees than the snacks, but I will take the snacks. Look at these pretzel chips, milk chocolate and caramel drizzlers, dark chocolate snack factory, Vaseline. I should really put this on before I cast. You know, my lips do get dry. I look at this replay after I make these videos. Lips look all dry, look like Ashy Larry, look like a crackhead in my videos. I'm not that. Don't send that to the board. I'm not. Don't. It's not funny. Please don't do that. Smart sweets, low in carbs. Got some York peppermint patties. These are great. It's Nature Valley. These are these soft baked oat bars. All right, oatmeal squares, cinnamon, brown sugar. Delicious. Probably go well with the coffee. Boom chicka pop. Love that. Sweet and salty kettle corn. Can't go wrong with sweet and savory. Chex Mix. Again, can't go wrong with sweet and savory. Lovely stuff. Look at this. Oh, Lindt chocolate. Smooth. I don't know if I'll get down to the white truffles, but all the other ones look absolutely delicious. Boom, guys. Happy Bosses Day. Bosses, try and be nice to your employees, all right? If you're nice to them, maybe they'll do nice stuff for you. I try and be nice to mine. I try not to be grubby and grouchy. I make sure and have a cup of coffee before I come into the office, so I don't get on their nerves because I think I might be crabby if I don't have coffee. So I think they're laughing at me. I hope they're not listening. Sounds like they're listening. Love you guys. You guys are great. Thanks for tuning in. I know I've gone over my time doing this live cast, but guys, thanks for tuning in. Listen, have a great rest of your week. Be well to yourselves. Be well to others. Be nice to your neighbors. Be nice to the elderly. Be nice to animals. I feel real bad. One of our employees, she lost her dog. Her dog died. So I feel real bad about that. So Colleen, sending out, all of our thoughts to you. Listen, you guys have a great rest of your day. Have a safe week and be well. All right.